Danny Segura for MMA Junkie. I'm here in South Florida, standing next to Britton Hart, who returns to Bare Knuckle FC in a rematch against Bec Rawlings. First of all, how are you feeling? I know that this was scheduled for earlier in the year. You had to pull out of the bout. How is your health? How's everything leading up to this fight?
I'm doing good now, which is what matters. It was definitely a hard road, and something I kind of reflected on and said earlier. Normally my fight camps are great and like happy and like actually kind of fun. I really love them, but this fight camp was definitely, the hardship, the grueling, the waking up and being like, man, and it was a lot harder on me and my body for what I went through. I also had to go to the doctor several times. Unfortunately, I don't have health insurance, so getting past that hump too was a pain and just mental nightmare in general. But I really think sometimes in life, being like I just happen to be a fighter is figuratively and literally, but you kind of need that pain and something to really work for and to know that it's gonna be worth it. And I think maybe I was getting too happy and getting too like, this is where I belong and free and like loose about it. And I really, positive lining, it sucked that it happened, but I really took it wholeheartedly in the fact that, I needed this to grind me back to this is hard. And, I have been suffering and I need an outlet to put it into.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, completely understandable if you don't want to elaborate on it, but you did an interview with The Underground where you explained what happened, some of the issues that forced you out of the first original booking with Bec Rawlings. Can you explain to the fans more or less what happened?
Yeah, so I got offered the fight, and I was super excited about it. Like I said, we fought before, so I've really been wanting this. And then shortly after we booked the fight, I found out I was pregnant. And, it's something I still deal with to this day as far as I was kind of upset about it. I was like, man, I really wanted this fight. So it took a week or two to like get adjusted to that. Then super excited, and then boom, flip flopped around, and here it is. We ended up fighting. We lost it right before my husband, fight, and that was just mentally just destructive as can be. My heart and soul is really breaks for him. Which is a part of me. Because I put that stress on. So I had to deal with all that. So, anyways, we found out, and it gets worse. It wasn't an easy. It wasn't just like a miscarriage. Like, oh, I miscarried. It was a lot deeper than that with the doctor and several trips to it to get it all worked out, which was like really ultimately a 2 month process.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear, first of all. Throughout this fight camp, you mentioned how it hasn't been a happy one. It's been a grueling one. In a sense, do you almost have this fight camp as a therapy in a way to get over all these tough things that you've gone through in recent months?
Yeah, I think before I said, fight camps for me were to get away from reality. When I was growing up and my young adult, my reality was awful. Like, my reality was a nightmare. So going into the gym was my safe place. Like, imagine that, going into a place where they punch you in the face was my safe place. So I was always happy in the gym. It was my reality and my life outside the gym that was so, horrible. So being in the gym this time, it's been I got kind of flip flop because, again, my outside life is so great with Joey, even though we're dealing with, this, horrible thing that we had to go through, is still great because I have someone that's there. Nothing being gone through problems by yourself is truly the worst. So I'm thankful that if I had to go through tragedy, it was at least with someone who loved me. So I always have that, and that helped that. But yeah, the gym was hard. The gym really was hard, but we made it happen. We got it done every single day. Even when I was like super fatigued and had to go get blood work and had to get this, I was still in the gym every day, and you couldn't imagine like how that felt in a few weeks time, what that felt like in being there.
Rematch against Bec Rawlings. Bec Rawlings was your first opponent ever in bare knuckle boxing. In a way, are you glad to revisit this because you can kind of show the evolution that you've had since you started a career in the sport?
Yeah, I think it's the best way to show it, And I think really I stand for that message to a lot of people, that anybody can do anything and you can fight your way out of rock bottom. And I've beaten some big obstacles, but I've never beaten anything that's beaten me. You know what I mean? So I really want to send that message that I can not only beat big obstacles like Pearl and Paige, but I can beat things that have beaten me before, such as my rematch with Christine. And I think a split decision is a very warranted rematch. I feel like at the time, who would you want to win? The girl with 1 million followers or the girl that's from Virginia with 4,000, that nobody knows? So, yeah, that's why they gave it to her. And now here I am. I've earned it and I've clawed really hard to be #1 female in the division as last year, to fight the toughest opponents, waiting for Beck to come back. And really, that's really what I want to settle is from day one.
Bec Rawlings doesn't believe in ring rust. She says that's an excuse for people. She's 100% feels ready going into her return. She hasn't fought in almost 2 years. Do you believe in ring rust? Do you feel like that's gonna haunt her a little bit, the inactivity? Well, whereas you've been very active in the BKFC world.
I actually love that she said that. I love it for two reasons. One, because now there's no excuses. So if she says, "Oh, it's been a while," she can't say that anymore when I beat her. So that's really cool. And two, I've had that question asked, hey, Beck's been gone for a while. Is that an advantage for you? And my answer was the same. So we got that going for each other, that common and an enemy. But I said, I don't believe in it. I feel like she's been in the gym. Yeah, she's been in Australia. Yeah, it's been COVID. But I've seen, people send me her posts. People peep on her. She's been working out. She's in a gym. She looks physically in shape. She never looked out of shape. So yeah, I don't believe. I think she's came from UFC. She came from an elite level, so she doesn't have the excuse ring rust from people that maybe didn't have such an extensive or elite background, or were a couch potato. She's been active. She's been in there. She was at Bellator. It's not bare knuckle, but ring rust is definitely not an excuse for losing on Friday.
Lastly, she's a former champion. You're the #1 contender right now. Do you think this fight gets you a title shot?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have Misfit versus the Killer Bee happening already, which whatever. I think I'm a fan of it, so I'm happy for it. And then I feel like basically it's kind of like a tournament. Whoever wins that one, whether it be Misfit or Taylor, and then me and Beck, I think that's going to be I mean, really is the only thing that makes sense. I don't think anybody else is quite there yet.
All right, Britton. Well, I appreciate the time. Best of luck against Bec Rawlings. Looking forward to the rematch.
Thank you.
Thank you.